I wish my teenage self could watch this video. I wasted so much time as a teenager doing things that didn't matter. But these are the 6 mindsets that completely shifted my trajectory. This video could save you years of time. I started with no financial literacy, no skills, and nothing to work for in life, I've picked up mindsets along the way by experimenting with my own life and giving you exactly the systems I used. Firstly, money isn't scary. Money is actually a tool. I'm not sure why, but my family didn't really talk about financial literacy as much. Therefore, I wasn't as educated in that area. I had no framework whatsoever. Even when I started earning, I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to properly allocate and plan for my money. Like, money comes, my paycheck comes for that month. And then maybe a few weeks later, it's like, oh, what happened to all the money? Where did it go? And whenever I spend money, I had an intense feeling of guilt because there was always like, is there a cheaper alternative? Is there something else I can do? I actually started by tracking my finances on a Google Sheet. It was just a template I found on TikTok and I've been using it for quite a while. It's been working really well for me. Now I actually studied some finance YouTube videos as well, and now I have a much more atas Notion expense tracker, income tracker, where I can see my budget, I can track my net worth, how much is increasing, and I actually use a lot of Notion systems, which I'll cover later on. Another mindset that helped me in finance was that whenever I spend a certain amount of money, I think to myself that, okay, this is not like money leaving me. It's not like I'm in a negative cash flow. No, there's nothing to worry about, because whenever I spend money, I know that if it's for food, it's something that's going to nourish me. If it's for books or courses, it's something that it's like a self-investment. I'm going to learn from it. Therefore, it's okay. It's alright. It is something that will come back to me. Whatever I spend, I believe it will come back to me tenfold. So this might be a bit hard to like believe, right? But when I spend money, wait, you can actually cultivate an emotion in the spot, right? You can believe so strongly in something that you feel the emotion coming up. So feel that conviction and trust that, okay, I'm spending money. I know that it's going to come back to me. The energy difference and the way you view it really changes. I started feeling way less guilty. And somehow, I really don't know how to explain the science behind this, but when I started spending a bit more freely on the things that interest me, I really like buying books. I really like buying courses, online courses. I feel that my quality of life improved more and my overall financial situation wasn't that bad. It wasn't like somehow money just flowed in. Okay, second thing, as a teenager, right, the only resources I had was time and my attention. Literally, that's it. It's just time and attention. Like, these resources, right, is something I had to protect so well because I had no other resources to manage my intentionality. Is your only competitive advantage. That is literally the only thing that will set you apart. It's honestly really easy to fill your time after school, like be it extracurriculars or social media, hanging out with friends. Honestly, like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's great to like do something after school, have something to look forward to. Let's see if that's what you dedicated time to spend with your friends. That is great. It's fantastic. But let's see if it's not intentional, it's like a spontaneous thing. That is not very ideal. I started using a Google Calendar in my poly time, and wow, everything changed. Google Calendar is a magical tool. Okay, I time block my week, so all my classes are in, and then after school, I block out some time for my side hustle, which I'll talk about later. And like, there is so much of time that we are not intentionally planning and using for example, your morning routine, your commute time, your evenings after school, what happens. And like, it's really important to be very, very intentional about your downtime, because time management, right, is actually values management. What is it that you stand for? Every hour has a purpose. Don't let something happen by accident. Like, intentionally schedule your time. If you value health and if you value growing your self-knowledge, then you have to allocate time for that after school or during your commute time. Talk about finance. Last one is attention. I know that social media causes like really hard to like focus nowadays, right? But that's fine. The main thing I want to talk about attention is that school is not the only curriculum you should have. If you only learn what you're taught in school, right? Because the world is moving at a ridiculously fast pace, and whatever we learn in school, right, as a diploma or as like a study, it's actually very niche. Because to truly thrive in the modern world, we need to be generalists and not specialists. I'll link a video up here, which is Dan Cole talks about this really, really well. Basically, what he says that, like, I mean, think about it. The day and age we are right now, right? 10 years ago, impossible to have a whole income source just from content creation from media, but today it is really, really possible. And that is scary. Now there's AI. So many things can be automated and delicate. You can save so much time. I do learn from school. I didn't really enjoy my class as much, but that's a different topic. I learned a lot from business books, psychology books, how to read people, how to influence people. And let's say if you want to learn specifically how to do a thing, right? Maybe it's not like books. There's this term called YouTube University, and it is phenomenal. There are really amazing courses, free things you can learn, so good things on YouTube that is just explained so well. Okay, for example, I learned things in my field, like how to design media properly, how to like have a psychology of like the content, these kind of things, right? It's like what I do on commute every morning, right? When I'm going, I have at least 30 minutes. So I have curated like playlists. This is like my October playlist scroll through. So every at the end of the month, right, I actually do a month end reset, which is a system I have to like maintain my life. If you're interested to know, I'll link the video up here. But this is my October playlist. This is like an example of my other month's playlist, January playlist as well. Every end of the month, basically what I do is I have a Kindle, so I read some ebooks, but I also read read physical books as well. I have some self-help books as well as some like fantasy fiction books, and I will curate this playlist I want at the end of the month. When the next month starts, right, I already have 30 plus videos which I can watch at least once a day. Throughout the month, I find something interesting, I just don't have time to watch it then, right, I'll add it to that playlist later. You can even design a whole full structured personal curriculum. Just pick 3 areas you want to master. What are like high level skills you want to learn? Maybe you want to pick up editing to freelance someone. Maybe you want to learn how to cook some recipe. Can be literally anything. Basically, learning outside of school is what matters, because when you're just learning whatever is in your school, right, you're too niched down. You need to expand your mind. And by doing that, you are able to find what you're interested in. This is one of the ways I discovered I was really, really interested in business. Which brings me to my next point. You need to have some sort of side hustle. Okay, this is really important. Okay, let me explain why. Okay, many teenagers will think that you just have to focus on school, get a job. It's perfectly fine. I am not against a job, by the way. Right now, I'm working in a lab, as you can see. I do have like a lot of lab work, and yeah, it's just pretty intense lah. You know, I'm not against a 9 to 5. I do believe it is a really good stepping stone. Okay, but the reason why you shouldn't only focus on school, right, is because you're leaving a lot of money and a lot of experience on the table. We have more tools than ever to create value, be it in form of content, and leverage the content to an audience which you can later nurture and grow and monetize, or build connections with your own community. And creating online is just such a beautiful thing. It's like a whole world on its own, and you're just claiming one area of the internet world. My side hustle taught me so much. It taught me more than any of my classes. Okay, I learned how to speak in public. I had to deliver presentations, and as time grew, I actually acquired my customer base. So learning how to sell an offer, right, and like not hard selling, but saying the right things at the right times, persuading them. And if they're not right, handling rejections. How can I handle so much rejections such that I look forward to it? Because I know that out of 9 people who reject me, 1% I will definitely get the sale. Turns your mind to really think like a business owner. And being a business owner is different from having a job, because having a job, right, you're reporting to someone, which is great, you know, it teaches you like discipline, how to time manage. But working your own business, right, the reason why that is different is because you have to take so much ownership. It is your sale. I want to make sales. I want to learn and improve myself to speak to other people so that I can form better relationship with others, and I can also earn. I didn't just have customers, I also had business partners, so I needed to learn how to manage a team. Down the line, I actually created some like Notion resources to give them, and it was really hard for me to learn how to manage a team because I just wasn't really familiar with that. I learned how to build real connections, how to build relationships with people, and I learned how to identify the pain points of my customers. And these are skills, right, that help me until today. I'm actually not doing the business anymore, by the way. Honestly, it doesn't have to be complicated. Like whatever is there, it can be freelancing. There's worksg.com, dropshipping, content creation, even tutoring. Whatever skill you have, put it on public and monetize it. Put it on public, display yourself. Maybe you can pick something that interests you. The goal isn't to make like millions. The goal is to have value to give and train yourself to be uncomfortable doing something that is out of your element, because you need to be outside of your element. You need to be outside of your comfort zone. Okay, your first business will probably fail. Mine did. But that failure will teach you more than any success ever can. You're not just making money. You're building a skill that will last you a lifetime. And doing this over and over again, right, this skill will compound over time. Okay, next mindset, right? Self-love is ridiculously important. Yeah. Okay, self-love, right, it's not selfish. It is necessary. Okay, let me explain. I wasn't great at making friends in poly. I was always awkward about it, and I was different, and I spent a lot of time alone, which wasn't necessarily ideal. So for a really long time, I was like, why is this not happening? And I used to like micro analyze people's emotions or reactions or their facial stuff whenever I say something, because I was so afraid that they wouldn't like me or something like that. And I wasn't able to openly talk about my interests when it came to business. It's just that most people I was with or my classmates didn't really like resonate with what I want. So guess what I did? I tried to fit myself into a mold to befriend them, and I was so miserable. I made friends with this girl who talked about her life in like during lunchtime. So during lunchtime is when I read on my Kindle lah. I like to just like sit and read, like a bit quiet time, right? She was talking to me, and then I don't know why the conversation kind of shifted to her birthday party. And I was just listening, and I was so drained after that. Like I get that she's not gossiping, I get that she's just asking me for my advice and like my opinion, but I'm portraying to be someone I'm not, and I'm pretending to be interested in something I'm not. And no matter how much I try, right, it will leave me being drained. So basically the learning lesson here is don't suppress yourself, don't like hide yourself or try to fit in the mold, because you're just not that kind of person. If you're watching this video, or if you watch self-help videos, you already know that you're a bit different from the regular fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like perfect. Like other people like different things, you like different things, and that's okay. Just accept who you are and like love yourself for it. It's okay. In this period, right, I actually discovered a YouTuber called Tamkar. I am so grateful for that because she romanticizes being alone and she even takes herself out on solo dates. She eats out in restaurants, in public restaurants alone, and that kind of blew my mind. I didn't know such thing existed and didn't know even like self-love came about. So when I watched the channel, right, and I realized that as I keep consuming it, my internal wiring of my brain changed. Therefore, I was able to like, oh, okay, this makes sense, let me give it a try. Wow, I developed so much of self-love. And when I spend time alone, right, this time I really spent time alone. I didn't like read books or watch my phone. And the reason why you love someone is because you know the person. You know them inside out. You know their flaws, the ugly characters, the bad things that they do, whatever it is, right? You know them. That's why you're able to fall in love with the person. Likewise for yourself, how can you love yourself if you don't even spend time with yourself? Eating a meal or whatever, you need to sit with your thoughts. You need to be alone and listen to what comes up. Maybe it's like an inspiration, maybe it's like good ideas, or maybe it's just your trauma resurfacing that you need to address. Maybe the reason why you're constantly having your headphones in is because you don't want to hear what your thoughts are. Give some space for you to breathe, for you to listen to what you're thinking. This will change your life in a lot of ways. Trust me, it really worked for me. I look forward to being alone. And even if my good friends ask me for lunch, I'm like, I need to block out the time. I need to like really recharge myself. So basically, learn to develop self-love. Can be however, in whatever way you want. I really wish someone older had told me this because I suffered a lot from this. Crushes are a huge distraction. And not just in crushes, I mean, there are different terms nowadays, right? Situationships. Basically, whatever that is energy draining. Focus on yourself. Okay, the problem is, right, this is how I felt. Having a crush was like a virus in my brain. It was nagging and non-stop. It just kept nagging me. It was a thought that didn't want to go away. It was so hard for me to focus on literally anything else when I knew that this was one-sided. I knew that there would be no progression. Let's say if you found true love in your school days, right, then it's not for you. You move on to the next part. Okay, the main point I want to say, right, it's okay to like someone. It's perfectly normal. It's hormones, it'll come and go. But the true fact is that at your prime time, right, when you're in the prime age of building something, right, the age of 15 to 30 is where you're prime in your life. You're able to make so many changes, and our human brains only fully developed when you're 25. Your crush emotional mismatch will distract you from achieving what truly matters. And the time that you spend thinking about that, the mind space, the energy drain, right, all these things will really compound over time. So prioritize what matters to you. If your priority is, or if your value, earlier I mentioned time management is value management, right? If one of your values is really to find like a person to be with, like it's like permanent, then that's okay because you're intentional about it. I want to preface this by saying that you have to be intentional about what you want to do. Okay, so what advice helped me was, instead of like chasing someone else, chase to be the best version of yourself possible, because when you're optimal state, right, you will naturally attract people who are vibrating at that energy level. And when you have developed yourself, have systems, are organized, have goals, right, you'll attract people who are on par with you, as in who match the vibrational energy state with you. Basically higher standards lah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, the mindsets I wanted to share is because of things I learned. I feel that it's not just a few years, but I'm 10 years ahead. Just because I shift the way I think and I change the content I consume. Okay, if you are a teenager, please pick one thing you want to commit and could just commit to it for the next 30 days. If you're interested in other goal setting systems I do, I have videos for that as well. And I just want to end this by saying that your teenage years, right, are so valuable because compared to the regular path, the default path, right, are destined for so much more. Like as a human potential, you can achieve so much more of your life. So your teenage years will define that. So shift that according to which direction you want to go from where you are right now, your place A, your desired place at B. Don't waste your teenage years. I hope you enjoyed this video. If I've added value, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.